Welcome to the American Made and Paid Show, the home of free speech and independent thought.
The big story is freedom of speech is really in trouble. The far left knows that at any time they can call for a sponsor boycott of anyone they despise.
It is right here, right now, where you'll get your weekly dose of unfiltered truth.
It's non-negotiable. Pre-existing conditions will be protected. This president has said this as a candidate.
Insight.
Very few people I know could have handled it. We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
And information that challenges the American way of life.
Welcome, everybody, to the American Made and Paid Show. Zach here, and I'm back with Professor Dreg here. Thank you guys for joining us. If you haven't left us a review on iTunes, please be sure to do that. As we definitely want to make sure that the show gets ranked. But yeah, we're over 70 episodes in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, Professor Dreg wanted to talk a little bit about Al Franken, which I can't say I have a lot of experience with. However, what is his significance when it comes to the presidential elections that are coming up?
Yeah, okay, so Al Franken was a guy, I mean, he's a comedian, right? He was a famous comedian on Saturday Night Live. Right. So one day he got it up his ass to run for Congress, and he actually won, but he didn't win outright. He lost, and then he said that somebody cheated, and then he had it recounted about 3 different times. And every time he recounted it, he got closer to winning. And by the 4th time it was recounted, he won in Minnesota. And I'm thinking, that's insane. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So he cheated his way to become a senator. And, because Al Franken is a Hollywood dude, right, even though he's in New York, but he made movies with that. Sure. So he's in the mainstream. He's popular and that type of stuff. Well, not just mainstream. He is Hollywood mainstream. Okay. So, because someone like that's mainstream would be Meghan McCain. She's mainstream because she's... Or Chelsea Clinton, right? Yeah, or Chelsea Clinton. That's even a better example because they're mainstream. Sure. They're not famous for but that's mainstream. But here's the thing. Because he's Hollywood, and I'm not saying because he is Jewish, but one might have to do with something or another. But the thing is, and like I said before, I'm a believer of this, that street conservatism, it's just how, the negative aspects of street conservatism, I found this out yesterday and this morning. The negative aspects of street conservatism is genuinely based on Jewish faith. Explain. Let's talk about that a little bit more. That comes from an eye for an eye. Okay. Eye for an eye, and I don't know how the rest goes. But I always was told, like, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Well, that's old school, Old Testament type law, you know? Yeah, but the thing is, that's actually, that's wrong. See, that way of thinking is actually wrong. So, and the good aspects of so the eye for an eye thing leads for violence. Mm-hmm. And you guys got to follow my logic here to see how this ties into Al Franken, because he is Jewish. He is not a Christian. He is a Jewish dude. So he believes like the way we would in the streets, the old fashioned way with eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, if that's the right saying. But anyway, that leads to violence. And that leads to our sexual appetites. It does, because in the streets, we're just wild on the streets. We're just like animals because we believe in that. And because we believe in that, we do crazy things. So Al Franken was doing hella crazy things because think about it. Not only has that street mentality of eye for an eye, and not that he's from the streets, but because he's Jewish, he believes in it. He's hella crazy when it comes to the women. So 7 different women accused him of groping, not just like, inappropriate touching, but literal groping, like grab ass, grab boobie, whatever. So he got accused of that. And there's even pictures of him when he was going to entertain the troops in the Middle East with the USO tour. there's a picture of him pretending to grope a woman who's asleep,
Sure.
some Hollywood star. So anyway, when all that stuff came out, Gillibrand, the person who's running for president with Bill Clinton, who's also raising funds, Gillibrand made him resign.
Right.
And he said, I don't care, it's hypocritical, blah, 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 blah. We got to get this dude to resign. So all of a sudden now, on Al Franken's podcast, because everybody has a podcast. Shit, we got a podcast. So you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Al Franken, he has a podcast. And on his podcast, he's saying that he regrets resigning because he was owed due process.
Was he resigned because he was blackmailed or because he was forced?
No, he was pressured. He was pressured by
Yeah.
all of the because Me Too movement, that's when Me Too just started. So when the Me Too movement just started, he was like, Harvey Weinstein got busted, like all these people got busted.
Right.
And he's like, oh man. So, he just resigned because he didn't want to look like a hypocrite. And,
Right.
and he sat on the ethics committee. So the problem with that, and the reason why he resigned is because they had it in for Trump and they wanted to get Trump on sexual inappropriate behavior, because at that time, you got to remember, that was when that scandal of Trump getting pissed on or pissing on prostitutes in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
So how could Al Franken impeach Trump when he's been accused and there's pictures of him literally groping a sleeping woman? That's rape. That's battery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And his hands were on the woman's breast. So that is sexual battery. And how can this guy sit on the ethics committee trying to impeach Trump if it came to it, if he was doing the same thing? So he went down, he resigned.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's saying he's regretting it. And the thing is, all of the Democrats are now saying, yeah, we acted too quickly. We should have given him due process. And I laugh at that because the due process aspect has always been and always will be the only thing that street conservatives know. Street conservatives advocate, although they have a bad side with the eye for an eye and the violence and the sexual inappropriateness and just being greedy, like just amassing, because that's what Ghetto Fabulous is. But
yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit on this show.
There is the compassionate side when we look out for one another, but that's the Christian part. See, because we always look for due process. What is due process? See, that is a Christian belief.
Right.
And a fundamental belief. So that's why I laugh, because it's these are the things. See, because Al Franken is now crying he did not get due process.
Yeah, he basically, I'm reading it now. I mean, he just resigned and he absolutely regrets it. But he resigned simply because it's just, Leanne Tweeden, that one hot girl or whatever, and a few other women.
That's one of them, yeah.
Yeah. Accused them outwardly of sexual harassment, but I guess there were no investigations or anything, and that
none.
Yeah, and here's the thing though, like there have been Al Franken. I'm not gonna, because I don't know much about this guy. I don't know if this guy actually did it or not. That's why we need to have due process. But
man, you froze for like a good minute.
Oh, okay. How's this? Is this better? Yeah, the internet's been spotty lately. What I'm saying is sexual harassment allegations, this is nothing new, right? Same thing with Kavanaugh. The thing is, Kavanaugh had, I think, honestly, his accusers basically sold their own poison, because they you know what I mean? It's like their stories didn't add up. So faced with that sense of due process and investigation, it's like there's nothing there. You're not going to find anything. I think when you first mentioned this, Al Franken stepped down because he was pressured to, not because of any other reason.
Yeah, by Gillibrand. She was the very first one talking her noise, and she forced him out. She got all of the Democrats to, to pressure Al Franken, and he did it under pressure. No other reason, because they were thinking eye for an eye.
Right.
Like literally, that's eye for an eye, and just mad. See, because this is what happens in democracies. In democracies, the mob rules. But in a republic, the way we
That's right. Because all it takes is just for a few people to decide that you are wrong because the majority feels that way, as opposed
and
to
they whip everybody up in a frenzy. And this is why this is so important, because this is a revelation I got yesterday from my meetings. But this is why it's amazing to see these things happen. Like, I'm telling you now, this is the most bizarrest turn of events of my life in the past 24 hours. You know, with Al Franken and the meeting yesterday and reading Romans, it was insane. So anyway, but check out what I seen, and correct me if I'm wrong here. But the thing is this: I am convinced with Al Franken, what happened yesterday with Romans, that this country is a true, like this Constitution is based on Christian faith or Christian philosophy. Because I think, because a lot of preachers and people, they don't, they practice a Christian faith, but I don't think they understand. I really do. I think a lot of people don't understand Christianity. I just don't. But here's the thing, and I'm new at this, so I'm not an expert, so my understanding is very little. But because my brain is big, I could piece things together. So just bear with me.
Sure.
Due process is very, very hard to give a person when you think they're guilty. It really is. And that's why democracies always fail. Democracies fail because, and I'm not saying like the devil's playground is a democracy, but, when a mob rules, man, it's real easy to stone it, dude. Because trust me, when you go to the Middle East, and it's like a pack of like when one guy picks up that rock to throw at somebody, dude, it's true. They throw rocks at each other. I mean, it's crazy as it sounds, but dude, it's like night and day. But when somebody's even in Israel, if those dudes in the black hats get mad at you for some reason, man, like all the other dudes in black start chasing you for no reason. They don't even know why they're chasing you, but they just start chasing you. So it's not just Muslims that do it. The Jews do it too. So I'm telling you now, and they have a democracy in Israel. They have a democracy, well, not really in the middle, but it's like a little bit of democracy, but not really.
Yeah.
But mob does rule in the Middle East, because I'm telling you now, that street justice shit, it's real. And they take no judges, because the thing is like this. And this is the mistake a lot of conservatives make. A lot of conservatives will say, well, you know what? If we just shoot them real quick, just one bullet, it's very cheap to kill somebody because it only costs one bullet. Instead of spending decades in prison, which is also wrong. And when you look at it like that, that does make sense. But here's the thing: due process is a Christian principle. I'm not kidding you. Because in Romans, that in chapter 12 or whatever, we read that earlier, it really does apply. When you treat your enemies, when you feed them, you give them drink or whatever, they burn from the inside. And that's literally what happened to Al Franken. It did, because you know what I mean? Like his own stupidity. And because at that time, I thought, man, they got to go after him. They got to go after Franken, because how in the hell are they going to let him resign? Because that's what I thought. I thought, don't let him resign. Go after him, go after him, go after him, go after him. But you know what? He resigned, and now he's regretting it. And now his life is, it's in shambles. He'll never get back. Everything he had in Hollywood, he gave it up for politics. So he can't, you know what I mean? Like he has Secret Service or some sort of protection. You know what I mean? It's not the same. His life is destroyed. He will never have his privacy back. He'll never have anything. He's always going to be that dude. And he's going to be living with that. I don't want to say that shame, because I don't think he's ashamed of it. But, his life really is destroyed. It's amazing.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's no shortage of sexual, assault allegations and all that kind of stuff. And here's the thing: if he did actually commit those things, then he has everything coming to him. But at the same time, we also have to consider the fact of how many of these allegations, right, are wrongful. They're wrongfully accused and everything, just because the mob, a group of emotional women. Because here's the thing, right? I don't want to say this. I mean, I just want to consider this option here, right? But what if all those women that came out and spoke out against Cosby, I mean, what if some of that is exaggerated? I mean, here's the thing. You would have to basically incriminate every guy from the 70s, which is what you were talking about, because everybody was doing that. Doesn't make it right, but at the same time, it's like, man, this guy's being unfairly singled out. You know why? He's in the spotlight. And here's the deal, too. I'm willing to bet that anybody they don't like, anybody who holds a prominent position of office, whatever it may be, is going to have to face this one way or another, where you'll probably get women you have never met in your life saying you did something to them. You're like, I've never met you before. And you're going to have to deal with that.
Yep. No, but
had Al Franken, and here's the flip side of the Romans thing and what we're talking about. If Al Franken had held his ground and denied it, I think he probably would have been in a better spot. Because another thing that book teaches us is also courage, right? If you know you're in the right and you didn't do anything wrong, hold your ground. Don't let them get the upper hand.
Well, because my thing is like this, because I have been accused of things that I didn't do, and I held my ground. I still lost, but it's okay, because you know what? I know I didn't do, and that's all I need. Seriously, as long as I know I didn't do it, and they know that they got away with it. But that's why I think a lot of my anger comes from a lot of those things like that. But that's why due process is so important. It really is, because to put one person away should be, and I mean should be, like the worst thing ever. It should be, because that's why there's a saying. I forgot who said it, but somebody said one man locked up is worse than having 1,000 guilty men free. And I believe that, because everybody is capable of committing some sort of crime. But I want to go back to Cosby and what you said with Cosby. The thing with Cosby is the difference between Cosby and Al Franken, because those women at that time didn't want nothing to do with Franken. He was groping her, like that one on the picture. Dude, that chick was asleep.
But okay, here's the thing. I looked up that picture while we were talking about it. I'm not justifying anybody here, but it almost looks like one of those photos where it's kind of like a prank, where it's like, oh, look what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, because here's the thing.
That's exactly what he said. He was like, I was just goofing around.
Yeah, I know that, because I look at that and I go, like, that almost looks so silly. Like, it's just like, he's not like with the intent of, ooh, I'm gonna molest this woman. It's just kind of like, hey, check this out. It looks like a joke. Like, it just, all right,
It's but now you see the humor in it, because
when I looked that up, I went, this doesn't look like one of those, like, he was sneaking around and gonna molest this girl and it's kind of creepy and stuff. This is funny, because it's just like, look at his face.
He was being goofy.
He's being goofy.
Yeah, you froze, so I'm gonna just keep talking.
No. He's being goofy. I mean, that's the thing. Oh, man.
No, but you're exactly right. And that's the point. See, because this guy went
it's kind of like, okay, real quick, though. It reminds me of, like, if someone was asleep in the back seat of the car and people are, like, trying to toy with their nose or whatever, getting them to, like, annoy. Like, that's basically what it reminds me of, right? Your buddy's in the car, his mouth is wide open, and you're trying to drop, like, insects into his mouth. You know what I mean? That's what it reminds me of. Guys goofing around. But you know, we live in a world.
But you're exactly right, because that's what it was.
Yeah, because
That's exactly what it was.
I look at this photo and I go, this has to be just one of those, hey, remember those funny memories when we did SNL in Afghanistan? And it's like, hey, this was a funny thing. I didn't mean anything by it. That it's not creepy. It's just goofy. It's like it's just like if I saw that and I didn't know the context of it, I would think, it's just one of your dude friends, like, you know, being weird and funny. And
but see, that's the point. See, now Al Franken knew that Donald Trump was just goofing around with Jeb Bush or Billy Bush for that accident.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody who heard that should have known Trump was just goofing around when he said, grab him by the vagina. Seriously.
And they let you is the other.
Yeah, and he was just goofing around. Or even if he says that, like, yeah, and they let you do it. You know, we don't know what they were talking. Maybe he was talking about the beauty pageants, which is another thing. I don't know if you. Oh, yeah. Well, hold on. We'll we still got a good half hour left, because I don't want to lose track on this thing. But when Trump was talking about that, we don't know the type of women he was talking about. We don't. All we heard him say was, they let you grab them by the vagina. That's all we know. But Al Franken was saying all kinds of crazy stuff about Trump. And then all of a sudden, boom, this hits him. And that's why it's so funny, because it's I don't want to say it's the Jewish thing to do, but it's but it really, I mean, but that's how it is, because you think you can get away with something, and you know, it's very ghetto. You know what I mean? And it's just how it works. And that's because it's amazing, like, because I don't want to say everything negative in the ghetto comes from like the Jewish faith, and everything positive in the ghetto comes from the Christian faith. But it's hard to, because I lived it, it's kind of hard not to understand that or to know that, because it's the truth. What saved us was the faith of others people who were kind and, you know, were giving us our due process and following, you know, some of those rules. You know what I mean? We might have even been their enemy. I mean, because, you know, when I think about it, they might have been feeding us so we don't steal from them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I mean, I've never stolen my life like that. Like, I never had to break into a store, nothing like that. But who knows, if I didn't find food, I might have. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting concept to feed your enemy, to give drink to your enemy. But see, Al Franken would never do that. What did he do to his enemy? He piled on his enemy. And what happened?
It backfired.
He got shitted on too.
Yeah. it was almost like had you extended even people you didn't agree with, like kindness and all that type of stuff, they probably would have come out in your defense, even though they typically don't support you.
Yeah, you never know what had happened. You know, seriously, like, because, you know, it's amazing. And this is what I find the most amazing. Because this is amazing to me. It sounds simple, but it really is amazing. Think about it. What if all of Trump's Democrat friends have continued to be friendly to him? Think about it. You know how different our country would be if Alec Baldwin was still his buddy? If all the people from because Trump was a regular guest on SNL.
Right.
All of those people on Saturday Night Live were all his friends. All those people in Hollywood were still his friends. Shit, we might have Trump back in killings of babies. Seriously, we could have Trump supporting millions of killings of babies. Mm-hmm. He would be supporting that if he still had those Hollywood friends. That's a real reality. But because it's not ran by Christian people, it's run by Jews. You got to say it. It's ran by people of the Jewish faith, and they still believe in the eye for an eye thing. They believe in revenge. They have to take it upon themselves to seek revenge. And what happened? Well, God elevated Trump, protected him from all of that crap. He did. Mm-hmm. Think about this. This is why Al Franken's story cannot be swept under the rug. because it is insane. Because that used to be Trump's friend. They were friends at one point in time, and now everybody hates Trump. And they all want revenge on Trump. We talked about Omar. I can't say her first name, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's for some reason my tongue can't say it, but I could say Omar. but it's no disrespect to her, but I don't know. There's something wrong with that. I think she's just one of the most evilest people you'll ever see. And I've seen a lot of evil people, but I'm telling you now, AOC, Omar, all of those people, something is wrong with them. Like, seriously, something is wrong with them. You look at their face and you can see it in their face, in their eyes. It's like something's wrong. But anyway,
there's a demon in those guys.
No, but but that's the thing. Like, it really makes you wonder if at some point they could be walking inside, hey, what's up, buddy? And like, hey, but you never know. But anyway, I don't want to get into conspiracies or sound like some religious kook. But the problem is this. All of these people at one point were Trump's friends. And you have to really start thinking about this. Why did Trump get elevated? And everybody else is still suffering. Everybody. And it goes back down to, like, Franken was a dude looking for revenge for no gosh darn reason.
Mm-hmm.
Why was he looking for revenge? I mean, Trump didn't do nothing to him. Trump just wanted to be president. I mean, was Trump a real Republican? No, he was a Democrat. He switched parties just to run for president. And doesn't mean he changed his philosophies, but because his enemies attacked him the way they attacked him, he switched. Think about this. We could have really bad killing baby laws. And it'll be like every state would be like, okay, it's allowable in Georgia or Mississippi, Alabama, Ohio to have 9-month-old killing of babies inside the stomach. Seriously, because, that's what that one doctor says, like, oh, yeah, we, the baby's born and we make him very comfortable, put him to sleep. And if the mother wants to keep the baby, we wake it up, revive it. That's what the doctor said. And if not, then they kill it. And I'm thinking, wow, we don't wake up the child. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? That's killing a baby. The baby's born and then they kill the baby. That's what late term, like 9-month, the day of pregnancy is. You let it happen, then you kill it when it's alive. Like, not alive, but breathing real oxygen, from the atmosphere. That's insane. And we could have had that across the country if Franken never would have attacked Trump. Think about that.
Yeah.
Look at the alternative. If Trump would have remained friends with all of those types of people, I'm telling you now, there is something very special about Trump. Whether people, because I know a lot of people will say, like, oh no, Trump, he's not a Christian, this and that, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I honestly believe that man has been blessed like no other. Because if you look at Franken, you look at what they all stand for, and Trump at one point was just like those people. And now look at Trump. He ain't perfect, but my goodness, he's like, I mean, come on, you think Bush would have done any of this? No way. There is no way. And that's the thing. It's like, and taking this back to the, due process. Due process is uniquely Christian.
Right.
Because only Jesus was the only one ever advocating it, not the dude from ancient Greece. Because everybody goes, oh, the republic comes from Greece. Yeah, but we're a republic in that sense, but we are a republic with due process, which is so different than everybody else. And we're the only people that has innocent until proven guilty. Where guilty people have to prove their innocence. And no matter what part of history, it's always been that way. With the exception of being, Christ. People follow. Jesus was the only one saying, oh, they're innocent. And you prove them that they're guilty. If you've never sinned, then you throw that rock. Because I don't know that parable well enough. But you know what I mean? But I do know that saying.
Yeah.
That's why Al Franken's story so gosh darn important because it's literally about due process. And he gave up his right to due process. Why? Because he believes an eye for an eye. I don't even know what that saying is. I got to look it up because eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, eye for an eye. Yeah, it is. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So, but that's the thing. Al Franken gave up his right for due process. And that's what every progressive believes in. Every progressive believe in giving up your due process rights. That's why everybody says, you know what? If a police does this and that, hey, man, just go for it. Give up your rights and just let him do his job. If you're innocent, you're innocent. I was like, yeah, but that's not Christian. Mm-hmm. It really isn't, because you are innocent. Every person you meet, you have to assume they are innocent and good people. You just have to. Because if not, that anger is going to eat you up inside, because you can't walk around just not try. You see some homeless, crazy dude, you just can't be automatically afraid of him. You got to have some faith that this dude can be a good dude. You know what I mean? So I'm going to work on it, because I'm like the opposite. Because, not that I'm scared, but I guarantee you I will beat the crap out of anybody I am afraid of or I don't understand. That's because that's how it is on the streets. And then, it's hard to do business and really engage. See, because here's the thing. That eye for an eye, one of the things the eye for an eye thing does, it makes you lazy in business. It really does. And I'll tell you why. Because if you only do business you're comfortable with, people that you know, you're going to limit your ability to expand in other markets.
Right.
Think about that. Like the whole Samaritan thing. That whole parable of the Samaritans, come on. If you follow Jesus's teachings, and you're like the Jewish dude, you're like, hey man, I love these Samaritans. I'm gonna sell my products to these people. Not only selling it here and with my fellow Jews, but I'm now selling it to these Samaritans, and I'm gonna triple, quadruple my money, because now there's way more Samaritans than there are Jewish people, so I'm gonna make tons of money. But you can't do that if you're closed off and afraid of everybody.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Hold on a sec. Hold on. Yeah, she likes to hear. She was asleep.
No, of course.
Yeah, it's all right. No, because her mom is away again, doing her thing. But yeah, she just likes to be here. We woke her up.
But what were you saying about the
But when you're angry doing vengeance, it makes you lazy in business.
See, and Alex Jones ranted about this once too. He's like, vengeance
really
belongs to God. Yeah.
What did he say?
It was in a skit where he was talking about how Hillary Clinton is a demon, and he says that because he's doing an act, right? So he's just like, if I don't win, well, vengeance belongs to God, and you will not stop us all. No, but that line makes sense when we were talking about it yesterday in Romans 12. Really, vengeance belongs to God. It's not up to you. And the reason why you act that way is because you have two things which God can take away: anger and fear.
But it's true. That's the only way. It's the it probably is the only way. It
is the only way.
You can go to therapy for 30 years.
That's a waste.
Yeah, no, money. But it's the truth. Therapy is like a waste of money.
I just said that therapy is a waste of money.
Because you froze again. I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, no. Therapy is a waste of money.
No, but it really is, dude, because it's a racket. It takes you 30 years. They make you go to psychotherapy, and it doesn't work. It just, because it's just a bunch of, oh my goodness, But certain aspects work, because like we're all animals. But like behavior modification works when you add punishment. Of course those things work, but it's not from the heart. You could literally you could bend a person's will through violence. You can. And stronger people can do that to the weaker people, but it's wrong to do. And that's why you don't do it. We outlawed it because, it's not from your heart. But the thing is, in all honesty, and that's probably why 12 steps actually works.
Mm-hmm.
Because like now I'm starting to understand 12 steps better. You know what I mean? Because it's the first commandment. That's all 12 steps is. It's the first commandment. You got to love yourself. In order to stop drinking, you got to love yourself the way you love you got to love God the way you love yourself.
Right.
And the way you love God, it has to be, pure of heart, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not good at articulating that, but yeah, I'm telling you, it's crazy. But anyway, but you know what I mean? 12 steps actually is the most effective way.
Yeah.
And it's not because that it's anonymous or whatever, but it really is because you got to have that faith.
Right.
And look, everything's in the Bible already. And not so much in the Old Testament, because I'm telling you now, the Old Testament is only for technical purposes like technology. It's not for spiritual guidance. It's not, because it's crazy. You just can't be killing other people. You really can't. There is no justification for killing, not even in war, because you could win a war without killing a person. You really could. Reagan proved it. He went to war with Russia without killing a Russian. He did it.
Yeah.
He didn't do it like that. And that's it, like, because there's exceptions for presidents and things like that, because of sanctions. That's not feeding people. You're putting sanctions on them. Yeah, but that's different because he's running governments. But he didn't kill anybody. And that's the thing. Reagan didn't kill anybody, and Trump is doing his best not to kill people. And man, those are the things I pray for. I'll tell you, because I don't really like to talk about what I pray about, but that is like part of my prayers is please give Trump the wisdom not to kill people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because once that happens, it's over. It really, because everybody's gonna jump on him. Everyone's gonna see, these people were murdered under Trump, and Obama killed like tens of thousands of people. You know what I mean? Were murdered, with drone strikes and all this, like the Fast and the Furious, the drug running scandal when they were selling machine guns to these drug cartels, and they were using U.S. guns. Mm-hmm. These drug cartels, and killing people, and actually killed some border customs control customs agents. You know what I mean? And nobody cared. But if anybody dies under Trump, Trump's a murderer. He killed. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just. I'm telling you now, it'll be very bad. It'll just be bad, and who knows? But anyway. but yeah, so Al Franken's story, due process, that's very important. But on a lighter note, because we brought up that beauty pageant thing.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? I don't know if she's Chinese, but
Kathy Ju. Yeah, I know her through other people. Yeah. No, she's been active even prior to that. So she got stripped of her Miss Michigan title or whatnot. And Jean Ho, actually, Trump's photographer, reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should go interview her." And I was like, "Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't interviewed anybody in a long time. I'm just, it's whatnot. But she, I saw that.
Yeah, no, but she was also stripped of Miss World.
Yeah, Miss World, because she didn't want to wear a hijab or something, or I don't know exactly what it was, but she.
Yeah, you froze for us. Dude, you froze for a good period of time again.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the internet here. But
yeah, that's why I was waiting to see if it was on our end or your end. I think it's on your end.
Yeah, my internet's not. There's been outages here, so it's just been annoying. But what I was saying was, can you hear me okay?
Jean Ho. Last thing we heard was Jean Ho told
you. Yeah,
so
Jean Ho was telling me to go interview her or whatnot, and all that, and I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what we would talk about though. Just like same stuff. Like, all right, yeah, free speech being challenged. Oh man, liberals. Oh, they can't stand it. That's the reason why I don't do much of those anymore, is because it's like what I care about are things that are. It's probably gonna get me.
But see, but that's the thing. You could challenge her. That's what I would interview her, just to challenge her and just to see, like, because I'm not saying like you're a true conservative or I'm a true, because like I'm starting to understand how, because seriously, how many people honestly understand that the Constitution literally is a New Testament document? No, but seriously, like how many people honestly understand that? The whole thing, because I could break down due process and just tie it into how it's a Christian belief. Right. Because, and I don't know if I said this clear enough, but seriously, when that mob is going to kill one person, that's what the Constitution is, to protect the minority voice, not the majority, because the majority never needs protection. The majority doesn't need protection. Hell, they got all the power. It's the little guy. And that's why, like, and I'm not saying like because I'm black I understand this, but being black on the streets, you have a really good understanding. But see, now I understand too, like a little better, why blacks are so fucked up in the head. Because you know what I mean? Like, we are big believers of vengeance and we want justice. Seriously, like, okay, I'll give you a good example. That one judge, gosh darn, I forget her name. But okay, so
Cynthia
this
Sotomayor?
No, another judge, a black judge. So this black judge had a brother who was a cop that beat up somebody, like police brutality. Well, he was a correctional officer. So her brother, who's also black, beat up another inmate. Mm-hmm. So that inmate, pressed charges and he was going to get fired. So the judge stepped in, gave some confidential files. And of course, that's all illegal. So, she finally, after 6 years, she finally got sentenced to 6 months in jail. And, all these people, like the court erupted. No justice. We want justice, and vengeance will be mine. And I'm thinking, but even that, but that's my thing. Like, black people believe in that crap. Mm-hmm. We want justice now. Well, you can't have justice now, because they don't understand the principles behind due process. You know what I mean? And they don't understand that vengeance is not theirs. Yesterday I wanted revenge. Today I know better. No, but it's the truth, because I don't know. I should say this story, but I think I should.
Why do you talk about it?
Because I'm telling, this is so because we had a business meeting yesterday, and I seriously did not like the people I was going to do business with. I hated them, and I wanted to kill them. I just literally wanted, because I'm a violent man. I know I am, and I'm always working on it. So, and I've calmed down like the past 5-10 years. But even at my age, I'm still shocked at my anger. But anyway, so my partner was very suave. Just he was very smooth and but very kind. So it wasn't like suave with his words. He was just very kind to them. He was killing them, because there's like this old saying that I never believed in: kill him with kindness. I'm thinking, kill him with kindness? What the hell is that? But he was very, very nice to these people, very accommodating. And I swear to God, this one dude, he started bleeding through his shirt, like his track, because it turned out that this guy was a heroin addict. So his track marks started to bleed, and because our meeting was like maybe like 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy, and so anyway, so long story short, because he was killing them with kindness, we were able to get everything that we wanted. And I didn't have to say anything, because I was like, I was just sitting in amazement. And I told him, I was like, dude, did you see that? I said, he started to bleed through his shirt. And he goes, yeah, because I was burning him. I said, because I was so kind to them, I was burning them from the inside. And I'm like, holy smokes. I mean, but I don't know if there's any scientific truth to any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are biblical verses that literally says things like that. That like I guess it's metaphorically speaking, but it literally happened. Like something that was metaphorically speaking literally happened. That my partner's words were so much that it caused so much stress to these people that his drug addiction just ate him up from the inside, and he couldn't deal with it anymore. And boom, there you go. And we've been working on this deal for like, how long have we been working on it? For months.
Right.
We've been working on this. And yeah, we finally got it. I think at least maybe more than a year now.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm trying to figure out how long we've been speaking, and we've been speaking for a while. But anyway, so long story short, I am getting more confident in my ability of saying that this Constitution, this country, everything about it, our justice system, which has been extremely perverted, is fundamentally based on Christianity. You cannot separate the Christian ideology found in the Bible from our Constitution and its justice system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like that anymore, because we've given the police so much rights where the number one way to kill a cop is they do them themselves. Cops kill each other because we've gone away from that Christian principle of due process.
Right.
And everybody's so willing, like Al Franken gave it up willingly. And, and that's why, like, I don't even know that girl's name.
Kathy,
but it would be interesting just to see, like, what kind of conservative is she? Is she conservative because she wants to be popular from Walkaway, or is she an honest-to-God person? Because I don't want to say you have to be a Christian to be a conservative.
Well, here's the thing that I will say, and that's why I like talking about this type of stuff, because a hard thing to talk about publicly is if you're a real Bible-believing Christian, a lot of the things that are in the Bible that our Constitution is molded off of, there's also a lot more in there that even conservatives will not accept. They'll think you're crazy and all that. And the thing is, you have to understand that if you truly are, going to live by those biblical principles, the world is not going to accept you. You're not, because
I don't believe that. I think they will accept it. Because, dude, I'm telling you now, like, if you see how fucked up it is in the world, how can they not accept it? I mean, I know in America, they won't accept it because we already have all the riches. So when you're on the top, I mean, that's a sucky thing to say about, people on the bottom will accept Christ, but because they want to get rich and all these other things. But I think the world will accept Christ, but the United States has a hard time because they believe they're gods. That's the thing. These progressives, I'm telling you now, they're evil. I'm telling you, like, I don't really, like, when we first started talking, I didn't understand, like, why they're evil. I only knew they're evil because they hated blacks and they thought blacks were monkeys.
Right.
And I know that's evil, but now I have a way better understanding on the evilness of progressives. It's way far more sinister than I ever could imagine. Yeah, I was just going, Martin Luther King's a hoax and he was probably a closet fag, and you know what I mean? That's nothing. That's the whole, like, they literally turned a bunch of Christians into believing they're gods themselves. Seriously, in a matter of, in less than 100 years.
Right.
That's what progressives did. They turned a bunch of Christian people who were God-fearing and really were, because think about how grateful was everybody in the old days.
Pretty grateful.
Nobody gives a fuck now. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We spit on our neighbors. We don't help anybody anymore. We're very tribal. And that's the thing. Christians are not supposed to be tribal. They're supposed to be Christians. They're supposed to spread it in all four corners of the earth. That's what I think, but not like the way for monopolies, but you got to give everybody a franchise. You got to give everybody opportunities to succeed, because those opportunities are only given through how Jesus put it out there in the Bible. And I wish I knew the Bible. That's why I wish I knew the Bible. You know what I mean? Because I read Romans, but I still forgot almost all of it. I only like two things stuck in my head. The part about vengeance and things like that. But you know what I mean? That's why we need real preachers. Or at least somebody who has a good memory that can memorize this stuff and teach this to other people. That's why it'd be interesting to talk to this chick, because is she only interested in being hot? Is she doing this for attention, or does she honestly understand the principles of the Constitution?
I'll be honest. I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's not a lot of them, right? I'm not singling anyone else out here. These are some of my final thoughts because we've got to wrap this up. But a lot of women in the conservative movement just regurgitate the same talking points, right?
Everybody does.
And they know how to look hot. I'm not saying they're all like this, but the ones that are after real, like, they're after real change and they're talking about it, are not going to be the ones that are afraid to be challenged and not afraid to basically speak the truth. Here's the thing: there's only very few women who have done that, and they've been deplatformed. I mean, say what you will, right? But like, I don't agree with this one Jew, Laura Loomer, too much because victim mentality and all that, right wing Jew. But at least it's like her antics are gonna get her in trouble. The thing is, I think that a lot of conservative women, when you see them, right, with their check me out hot Trump supporter, they're just racking in the shekels because there's so many betas out there that are like, oh my God, a hot conservative girl. And they all they do is just give them money, because it's not as hard to compete in the conservative circle if you're a hot girl than in the mainstream, because everyone's hot in the mainstream. So it's just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It feels like it's so foreign here. And here's the thing. It's part of the reason why I kind of withdrew from YouTube a little bit too. It's because it's like, dude, you want to stay popular on YouTube? Say the same stuff over and over again. If I'm going to talk about the Jews, like, dude, I'm going to get deplatformed first thing. If the things that we've talked about on this show, because it's a different platform and we kind of own it, it's okay for us to talk about Christianity in a very open, provocative manner. Like, if I said Martin Luther King was a hoax on YouTube, dude, I would get taken off.
Dude, but we really have to get into that, though.
Yeah, we do.
Because it's hard. Like, I'm telling you now, I believe it's hard to be a Christian. It's not easy.
Yes.
Because look at what happened to Martin Luther King. He was a Baptist preacher, and he fell into the trap of being popular. He did. And that's the thing. It's like, and that's why, like, I got to give a lot of respect. Like, that's, like, because who knows? Like, and like, who honestly knows what's right and what's wrong? Like, was Malcolm X a Christian dude? I don't know. But he changed his philosophy. Like, that's why he left Nation of Islam. And he was against Martin Luther King, too. Like, those two guys didn't get along because he was trying to tell him, hey, look, certain things aren't right, da-da-da-da-da. And he walked away from, like, he literally walked away from Farrakhan. And I don't want to say Farrakhan had him assassinated, but, going to Israel changed his life because he got to see the truth, which was, hey, man, yeah, I don't want to get, because nobody honestly knows who the first people were. We just assume they were black, but it does make sense that original Muslims were Aryan and the original Jews were black, and a lot of it is racially motivated. But without scientific proof, I don't really want to say that anymore. But who knows? But anyway, but my point is, it's not easy to be a Christian. It really isn't, because it's hard to not get into this gang mentality. It really is a hard thing. You know what I mean? It's and that's why the streets are so messed up,
right?
Because everybody has that gang mentality, and nobody wants to love one another. They just don't. They don't even love each other. They don't even love themselves. They don't. They hate themselves. They hate being broke. They hate being black. No, but it's the truth. Like, a lot of black dudes hate being black. They hate it. You know, like, oh man, I wish if I was white, my life would be so much easier. You know what I mean? But then they, you know, it's kind of like the way the South Koreans are always committing suicide. You know, they have so much because people don't commit suicide in North Korea. That's not one of their problems. You know, why? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what keeps them alive. But in South Korea, they don't really, there's not a lot of Christians out there. So there's a lot of self-loving in South Korea, which is why they lead in what's that? Surgery,
plastic surgery
and things like that. Come on, you don't love yourself if you're getting plastic surgery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like enhancing your body. Come on, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Just accept you for who you are, whatever, and that'd be that. And but that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Because I know we got to get going.
Yeah, but that's a good way to put it. I mean, I think it still kind of pertains to that, because even if you loved others, you would give them due process. You would. You really would. You only wouldn't if you didn't. So that's a good way to kind of end it there. Well, thank you guys for tuning into the American Made and Paid show. Be sure to stay up to date with us. And, we'll have more coming your way. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.